I'm logged in under.
Where do I go?
We're live. Hey.
I got
Hi,
it.
everyone.
I got it.
No, I know, but we're live.
He
so
wants
I'm
the
saying
video. He wants the video.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello, and we're recording. We're live. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to watch people in all four corners of the world talk, debate, and argue over shit that they probably don't have any information about to back themselves up. I am Nary Science, live from a cruise ship.
The middle of the ocean. Ocean.
With me, as usual, is Missy.
Hello.
And Michael.
Yo, what's up, bro?
And Steph. Mayor Senior. How are
Hey.
you guys? I'm on a ship, so I don't have the soundboard. So I'm like, anyways, I am going to be here. They changed the schedule this week. So I will be here for the majority of this episode. I got to duck out of here like 15 minutes early, but you get what's happening here, guys. Thank you very much for checking us out. If you're listening to the audio version of this, just know that you could watch the video version, even though you can watch it live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Even if you're listening to the audio version of this, you can go back and watch the video version at geekbro.net and Facebook and YouTube. All the links are on everything. So check out all our social media at WuBroPod, which is WuBro Pod. That includes, but not limited to, Cash App and or Patreon. So make sure you check that out. Let's get some things going here, people. Just wanted to. I feel pretty today. I gotta be honest.
I feel pretty today.
It's a good color.
Pretty. It's It's. I'll tell you why I feel pretty. Because about 10 days ago, I was in Cincinnati, and I said something on stage to the effect of like, I don't know. I did something like, "Oh, ladies, I'm single. I'm sorry. I know some of you are like, oh, maybe we have a chance." And then I take a pause and I go, "You do. Maybe you do." And after the show, that was like early in the break. So after the show, I'm selling T-shirts because I'm a whore. And I had a gay couple come up to me, and they were like, "Remember when you were saying that, that there were women in the audience?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Well, me and my husband looked at each other, and we both said the same thing, that, yeah, we'll hit that." And I was like,
wow, that is a sincere compliment.
Yes.
I know. And it was him and his husband. I was like, "Are you guys married?" And he said, "Yeah." I'm like, "And you guys were still, thanks so much. That's I was like the coolest thing ever." And I was like, so that was 10 days ago, and I'm still on that high.
You're still riding that high.
So I'm still right. Well, because the high took a hiatus because of the whole Instagram thing. But now I'm like, hey, remember that time that a gay couple said that they would hit that? And I was like, fuck yeah. So
Were you like
when
ready
you
to start posting thirst traps?
That's truly the ultimate. It's the thought that counts, because you know what I mean? You don't need it like, hey, it's the thought that counts. Like, I'm not gay. I'm not going to have gay sex with these men. But also,
take it easy. Let's slow down. I mean, let's hold on. Let's see what happens.
I'm open to all experiences.
No,
I'm in the mid.
No, but this is what I was telling you. Like, we've had this conversation a billion times before, especially me and Stephanie. about I find it flattering. Like if any woman were to come up to me and be like, "Oh, I thought about you yesterday while I was masturbating," I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much." I don't have to be physically attracted to that person. I don't find that as a sexual thing. To me, it's not like an invitation to like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck now," and it's not. I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that."
But that's why dudes say it.
Yeah.
Well, right. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Dudes say it to express the fact that I would fuck you in my dreams. So if you want to make that a reality,
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're thinking about simp dudes, if you're looking at like what's cis, those guys, am I saying? Am I using the phrase correctly?
Cis, like SIS, cis.
No, like the
incel. You're talking about like the
incel. Yes,
Oh.
thank you, thank you. I got the wrong phrase. I'm sorry. Yeah, so incel dudes definitely, but that's my whole point. Has always been for years. Like it's not a sexual thing. It's not a come. To me, it's like, oh, it's flattering. And this was the absolute
and we're in big disagreement there.
Example.
But yes,
yeah,
but this is the
not
absolute prime. But this is the absolute prime example. There was a gay couple telling me, a heterosexual man, that they both looked at each other and said, "Yeah, I'm down." That they're both down to have sex with me, and I'm like, "Thank you so much." That wasn't I wasn't offended. I wasn't like, "Oh my God, I'm threatened, and now I think something bad's gonna happen." I'm like, "Thank you."
Did they clarify what position you would be playing?
I think it's obvious. I'm bottom. I think that's quite obvious. You know, come on. I think, yeah, I need a pillow and something to hold my
Neri is
tears.
the classic work smarter, not harder guy. Are you kidding? He's a bottom for sure.
He's always trying to get fucked.
Yeah, I have Comcast internet. I'm always down to get fucked. Like that's my thing. Is I like to get fucked by large companies.
Oh my God!
But anyway.
Speaking of fucked by large companies.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
you're still in Instagram jail.
Instagram ban.
There's some progress in that.
There's some developments, guys.
There's some development, but nothing has happened. I got a hold of somebody today in the chat feature, which I was only able to get because of the fact that I have a business account with them, and then I bought ad space for one of my previous posts only for the hopes of getting the chat enabled thing, which it worked. So I spent $20 last week to promote a post that I didn't care about promoting. I just wanted it. This was all at the somebody suggesting this to me. Somebody's like, if you have a business account with them, spend $20 spend $5 or whatever on an ad, and then you'll have somebody like being able to reach out to you. And I did. And
so it's like that commercial of a guy putting the money on the fishing line and going,
The second money is exchanging hands, they're like, now we'll pay attention to you.
Well, I think that their customer service might be improve a little bit because it did have sort of a hiccup on Monday where they have to make up $7 billion.
What happened? I don't know.
That was the greatest day, man. Everybody was hoping it was permanent. Was I the only one?
No, I genuinely, I tweeted it out because Twitter was the last bastion of social media, and I tweeted out that it was, that Kylo Ren part where he's like right before he spoiler alert kills Han Solo, and he goes, I want to be free from this pain. That was me. Like I was genuinely like, oh my God, is this it? Can we finally, I even deleted the apps off my phone because it was down for long enough where I'm like, let me use
How long was it down? I was sleeping. Just for anyone who's listening on the
8 hours?
The whole day.
Yeah, 8 hours.
Pretty much the whole daytime, American daytime hours. And there was that moment of like, oh man, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but do you remember PCU? Do you remember that movie,
yes.
PCU? There's the guy that's watching, like, he's doing his thesis on TV or something like that, movies or something like that. So he's just literally just in the corner watching TV the whole movie, and then finally he finishes watching a movie and he's like, I'm free, I can finally stop watching television. And his legs are asleep and he falls over. That's how I felt. I genuinely felt like this. Oh, is it happening? Is it like finally? And I deleted the apps, and then as soon as it came back on, I was like, no. Come back.
I gotta be honest with you. I was the only thing that I was like, what the fuck is going on? But I wasn't completely flipping out because I didn't have my old account back. So who gives a shit? Like if the 20 people that are following, like I don't like. It's like
you're like, that's what you get.
I was kind of, but I will say this: MySpace was lit as fuck on Monday, bro. That shit was awesome.
It's still up. You know, MySpace still exists.
MySpace. Oh, buddy, where do you think I get my TBTs from, bro?
It is a TBT archive.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah. Tell me, I don't know about.
See, like I'm one of the only people that the only reason I would be sad to lose those particular platforms just because like that is the main way I'm keeping in contact with certain family members and stuff. Like WhatsApp in the Colombian family is like
literally
super important.
It's so important in Latin America, around the world. It's like it's basically showing you
if
how,
you like your family, yeah.
Well, even for like business,
like mine.
Internationally, it's used as like the mobile messaging platform because it is cross iOS and Android, and like you can use it on different platforms. So internationally, it's like a big deal, but also it's still fucking Facebook. It's still like one company holding all of that power. When they went down, like there was literally like South America stopped talking to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, my family like lost communication with each other.
The world got less loud on Monday. I was like, oh, you hear that? That's Latinos not being able to talk to each other.
Did you guys also notice?
My family was lucky that my grandparents are now visiting the States and they're staying with my parents. My grandparents had just gotten there. And like finally, like that was the main way of them keeping in contact and finding out where they're in the airport. They had finally just gotten there where everything went to shit, and they were like, "Oh,
so
we would have lost them."
Yeah.
Their fault.
Well, this did
grandparents
happen.
come to this country, and all of a sudden, Facebook goes down. Coincidence? I think not.
My 95-year-old grandfather.
That's just a cover. He's not really 95. He's been pretending to be 95 this whole time. He's that good of a spy. Everyone was pointing to the irony that it did happen right on the heels of the whistleblower going on 60 Minutes and revealing how much bullshit Facebook was up to. And then the next day, coincidence.
Something of which I don't agree with Facebook. I do not agree with that statement. Those are the opinions of that lady who blows whistles, not of this person who has to suspend it.
She doesn't actually blow whistles, guy.
I don't. Yeah. I'm just saying, please give me back my Instagram account. I do not want to be part of that.
Come on, Instagram, step up. What are you, a pussy? What? I'll talk some shit. Everyone on this show feels exactly the same way as I'm saying right now. You all are full of shit.
Inaccurate. That is inaccurate.
Everyone present on this screen right now.
I do not agree with these terms and or conditions.
You, Instagram. Fuck you, Facebook. Come up. What are you doing? Step up.
What's happening?
I'm challenging a multinational organization to a fist fight.
What could go wrong?
Oh no! Step straight down.
Capitalism is bad.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like that would be great. I'm just like here ranting, and all of a sudden everyone just kind of like pulls out of frame. Like...
No, it's kind of like Facebook did that whole thing of like, little kid when they cover their eyes and they're like, they can't see me.
Yeah. So there was also the process of slowly realizing that your social media was down, because there was the process where I was like, oh, my phone's acting weird. Wow, this Wi-Fi sucks. How did everybody?
I'm on a cruise ship. And I was like, is it my? I literally, this is the two simultaneous thoughts that I had. Is it the ship's Wi-Fi that's being shitty, or am I fucking suspended again?
Oh,
am I suspended? I was like, is this again the way? Because it's again says sorry, we're having trouble, or sorry, whatever, we can't refresh your page, and it's exactly how it happened when my original account got suspended. So I was like, is it the ship Wi-Fi? And then I went over to like the other Instagram accounts, which are like the WuBro and the Geekmore, and it was the same thing was happening, and I was like, they can't cancel me completely, can they? I was like,
you ain't shit Instagram, you ain't shit Facebook. All those accounts feel exactly the same way too. All of the whole Geekmore network.
She's down again. Why do you keep doing this?
Why are you choosing violence, Michael? Some of us
I had a glimpse of freedom.
So go back to the freedom. Nobody's stopping you.
Delete all your social media.
I you know what? Okay, so no joking around. I'm like, I'm like desperate to get rid of. I do not like feeling addicted to my phone. I am addicted to
bullshit walks.
Well, we all are.
What? Money.
What is bullshit? What is it?
Money
bullshit
talk.
You're saying it wrong, home.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Bullshit
it's because I
walks.
didn't have the money thing in my mind.
Yeah,
bullshit walks.
Like fucking do it, bro.
That's what it is, homie.
That's what you meant. Fucking do it then. Pussy.
Yeah.
I was having similar thoughts this weekend. I was like, I actually don't really like that about me, that I'm so addicted to my phone that I can't stop checking my email, that I can't stop checking social media. Like, I can't leave this little shit alone, and it was annoying me. So then Monday I was like, am I a witch? Did I break on social media because I don't want to do it anymore? And it turns out, no, I'm not. But the feeling still remains. However, that being said, I think the temptation to be in the know is just too much for any of us to really willfully walk away. Like, they have to turn it off. It's not going to be a thing where anyone can actually quit it.
Someone made the comparison to the end of the movie Cable Guy. Do you remember, like, when everybody's watching, and then he falls on the satellite, and everyone's like, "Oh!" And then some guy just opens the book and it starts reading and shit like that. Like, everyone was suddenly like, "The sky, the birds," you know, like.
Yeah, look, I've had this conversation with people before. Like, I was on this podcast years ago on a cruise ship. We were recording, and he was like, because he knew me, we were friends, and he was like, no phones during the podcast. Like, you can't check your phone. I'm like, okay. So I put it down, face down, and we were talking, and something came up. I don't know how, we were talking about idioms, how some idioms come about, and I said something to the effect of, like, where does it mean to look a gift horse in the mouth? Like, what does that even mean? I don't, like, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what that means either. And I looked at my phone, and then I go, okay. And I just looked at it, and then looked back, and then he made a comment on the podcast, and this is my friend Colin Moulton, very funny comedian, and he was like, "Oh, you're so addicted to your phone that you want to look at your phone or not?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." He was like, "You're addicted." He kept saying that like he was trying to take shots at me, and I was like, "No, yeah, I am. I'm fine. Like, I'm totally fine with acknowledging that I'm addicted, and I'm totally fine with being addicted to my phone, because you know what? I'm not addicted to anything else. I'm not addicted to alcohol, drugs."
Sure.
You could say that I'm addicted to food, to fattening foods, to foods that are not good for me. That could be an argument that could be made. But if you're,
I love that. What about porn? He's like,
oh, is that what she said? I thought you said corn, and I was like, I don't even get that reference.
Fuck you. She did not think corn. You did not.
I swear, I did. I'm not.
He does this all the time to me.
Wait. I'm not saying she did. I'm saying I heard corn, and therefore I was like, I'm not saying she said that. I'm saying that's what I understood.
Yeah, that's sweet.
No, porn.
Sweet,
again,
grilled corn.
It's one of those things where, like, why wouldn't you react to her, like, out of nowhere asking you if you're addicted to corn, of all things?
Did you not see the pause? I paused. I was
you
like,
haven't answered, young sir.
Oh no. Again, to answer the porn thing is the same thing as a cell phone thing. Yeah, I'm addicted to porn. I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm okay with being addicted to porn. I'm okay with being addicted to my phone. To be honest with you, I talk about it on stage. I brag a lot about how much I fucking love porn. Me and Mike have been to porn conventions.
That's
well,
true.
We did a porn convention.
We went to one.
And then they stopped doing them for a while in Miami. They came back this past year. They came back. It was like a month ago that they were back in Miami.
I went.
Did another professional wrestler die there?
Huh? Who died?
When we went there, the year that we went there, China had a very bad episode, and we saw her.
That was a joke in poor taste, I feel. That was a joke. We were right in the middle of that event because we saw it happening as unfolding.
And we were in a backstage area, so where we weren't supposed to be, but because Mike knew one of the security guards, we were just talking to him. And when it happened to be that China went, and she was like stumbling and bumbling, and it was really,
it was genuinely like
pretty sight.
It
was concerning.
It was concerning in that moment, but then also once we heard about like that other people had tweeted about it or something. I can't remember exactly how it was in the news.
No, it was immediate. It was like maybe 10 minutes later. I'm checking my phone because, again, I'm addicted to my phone.
Right.
10 minutes later, the news pops off that she was taken in an ambulance. Like, she got there an hour. Yeah. She got there an hour late. I know because the security guard was like, "Oh yeah, she was supposed to be here an hour ago." She got there an hour late, laid down on some couch that they had, and then like 5 minutes later, she was out the door. And then we checked the internet, and it was like 10 minutes later. It's like China has just been taken to the hospital in Miami Beach and all this. I was like, oh, boy. Yeah. But I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to my phone, and I'm fine with it.
You're totally a connoisseur. You enjoy the art form. You you appreciate the art form of pornography, and
I would say addicted to porn is a different thing than like being a fan of porn, because you're
people
not
that are addicted to porn
in front of your children or something. Like you're not doing inappropriate things.
Also, you prefer, correct me if I'm wrong.
I do inappropriate things just by myself. Myself.
Well, sure. What I'm trying to get at
myself like a carnival
is that you still prefer the real thing over porn, right?
Correct.
Right. So
there's actually there's some people who have unfortunately gone the other direction, where nothing can satiate them nothing can satiate them, because the porn has like given them unrealistic expectations.
There's also the sex trafficking stuff, but whatever.
Those are different. Like to where it's like feeling satiated by, or no woman, like your expectations, those kind of that. I wouldn't say that porn like is the sole source of that, because anybody who dives into a make-believe social construct as applying it to real life is subject to that. So like people like that whole thing about like what
Chiquita's comment. I also heard corn, and I love corn, so being addicted to it, sure. And porn, free porn, yeah.
Free porn.
Free porn specifically.
I think when you start paying for porn, like very specific, like you're like, no, I need to buy this specific type of porn. That's already a little too far for me.
But they know what they're doing. There's some websites that promote themselves as the Netflix of porn, which is like, I mean, I know some podcasts that would run very closely side by side with Netflix. So it's not like an Netflix, awful,
but with porn.
Yeah. Well,
it's like Netflix.
Wait, go to the comment right before Chiquita's.
She said Melly Herrera. Shout out to Melly Herrera.
Under that.
I think I think this is the first time she's on. She's commented. Am I correct?
Hi.
Melly?
Yes. Welcome.
Welcome. She says, great topic. LOL. She says, porn just gives you ideas.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. But also, if those ideas are not realistic, that's where you start getting disappointments. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing about like I saw a meme. It says like porn and Disney movies have made for some of the most miserable people in the world, because their expectations are like super high. It's all fantasy based. You know what I mean? Yeah. His Dick Flicks is available.
Come through, Ricky.
It's like Netflix, but with dick.
Rookie. It's like it's like Netflix, but with dick.
George says that Facebook and Instagram ruined his life. LOL. Is that like a DM, like somebody sliding into your, like, how did it ruin your life is what I'm asking. Is it like a joke ruin your life? Because there are people that for sure it has ruined their life.
Well, some people would have businesses solely on there, wouldn't they?
I don't know. Yes, I did, and then it got suspended.
Neri was
Melly says,
selling.
I was talking about purchasing, but yes.
Melly says, keeping in mind movies are movies. They aren't real. They're edited and scripted as best as you can script them. I agree with Melly. It's not the porn industry's fault that people can't differentiate between what's real and what's not, what's fantasy and what's not fantasy.
Yeah. Well, that's also the thing is that it's so available now. Like before, you used to have to like stumble across a box of porn in the woods, and now it's like everywhere.
Are you doing in my day? In my day, we used to walk in snow to school. Like,
no. Yes, I'm not saying that I struggled with it, but that is, first of all, it's amazing to me that the box of porn in the woods is like almost a universal thing. Like everybody I know.
I was about to say. So did you find my box of porn, or did I find your box of porn?
Everyone. I just like that there's some giving person out there who is like, I'm done with this now. Give it to nature.
And conversely, And conversely, then there's children that are taking their parents to court and suing them for their porn damages.
Collection. Yeah, that was previously on WuBro. But the idea of like the accessibility of it. Also, I will say this: there's a lot of like young people out there who will watch these videos and not understand how fake it is, and then you see like there's I don't want to be gross, but there's like this whole it may be one of those things that the internet makes it seem much larger than it is, but like these like incel dudes are suffering from a lot of those things where they're like attracted to the whole step brother step sister thing. I see posts from that shit I see posts about
that genre creeps me out so much.
They're everything. I mean, it's so creepy. Like there's so much.
Can we just keep it simple with the pizza delivery guy? Like I don't.
No, but it doesn't exist anymore. Like they don't do that anymore.
I know.
There's no the plumber.
I do like a classic plumber. I like a classic plumber.
Yeah.
You know?
Who doesn't, Steph? Who doesn't?
I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that. The pizza guy doesn't exist anymore because now they have the pizza guy with the hole at the bottom of the box. So
that is old. Look at you.
Yes, but they still have it. Is what I'm trying to tell you. Trust me, they still have it. I'm just letting you know.
But also like the concept of like the watch like. Man, like I can't like we used to watch the blurry, and this is a back in my day thing because technology has changed so much just from just in my lifetime that if someone who's like 20 years younger than me hasn't had that big of a sweeping change, like the fact that you can like we used to have to watch the scrambled porn and all that stuff. Like the first time I saw a titty, it was like a big deal.
Or Skinamax.
Yeah, Skinamax.
That stuff is still burned in my brain.
Where it's like, imagine if all you knew about sex was like Red Shoe Diaries and there had to be like cheesy saxophone music playing in the background while you suck a toe or something like that. Like that's all they
What if that's why I'm a romantic nowadays? Because that's how I grew up watching those kind of soft.
The answer to your question is no.
No, you don't. That's why. I don't know, because then I would be only into like pixelated little blips of things popping up.
It's like, is that a nipple? Oh no, that's an elbow. No, that's the
first time.
No, that's a man.
When I was younger, when I was a little kid, I think that's the first time I ever saw like a group anything. I was a kid.
That's a lot of work. I mean, I feel like I hope those people make more money than regular porn people.
Sure. I don't remember it clearly. I just remember like the quick little bloop, like it popping up out of nowhere, me being like multiple.
I had to one time. Okay, so everyone in my family, we had one of those cable boxes, the illegal cable boxes that you could get all the channels. And then one time, so I'm a criminal. And then one time we
got one.
Yeah. Call the feds. But we had it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas, some family meal where we were all there, like generations of my family. My grandparents were there, like everybody was there, everyone from old to young, babies, everything. And we were all in the living room, and my grandfather starts messing with the channels to try and find the baseball game, right?
No.
So he's like going, and the remote didn't really work. The button was kind of messed up. It was like that classic, like fucked up cable box, but we couldn't change it because it was the one that gave us the free stuff. So I didn't have the wherewithal to be like, I knew exactly what channel it was, and my mom didn't have to worry. He wasn't even close. I knew exactly which the bad channels were, the porn channels were. So my mom goes, oh no, don't worry, I'll find it for you. So she starts pushing the button even faster. So it's like going tick, 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 and I'm like, oh shit, it's getting closer. Da, 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 da. And then just when she lands on the porn, the button stops working. And she's there like, and then finally she's like, like freaking out. And then I had to and then finally someone just went up and turned the TV off, and everyone just kind of had to sit in that moment of, okay, so we all know exactly what happened, but we're going to pretend like, what? That's so confusing. I don't understand. What movie? Oh, is that a movie? Who knows? Whatever. Okay. And then everyone just kind of just stood up and walked in separate directions. Like everyone just kind of dispersed. Like, well, something else has to be happening, and I'm gonna go find out what that is.
I was like, reset.
Yeah.
I would love to have been that one dude being like, how did it end? What's going on? How did it end?
Oh, I'm so lost.
The story, sir.
Yeah.
We didn't catch.
I'm invested.
Yeah.
Melly says Spice and Adam and Eve on the black box scrambled porn is her thing. George says I used to have to download porn pics in 56K, which is hell of a dedication. That's like dedication.
Click. Well, that's because it was all pictures. I remember like you would just get pictures and like videos were like you forget it. It didn't exist on the computer.
Rookie says porn isn't the problem. It's failure of sex education. It's like watching pro wrestling and thinking that that's how you're supposed to fight. I completely 100% agree. Rookie, by the way, thank you again. He's one of our Patreons. Rookie, Yolanda, and Izu are our Patreon members as of right now. If you want to be one of those, go to patreon.com/WuBroPod. And then it's very concerning that there's lack of education. Chiquita says, my first porn was pixelated because it was a premium channel. You had to pay. Anyway, I never laughed that hard in my life, and I was 12 years old. That's literally a joke that I used to talk about when my then girlfriend, now wife, first watched porn together. She laughed. And I remember telling the story on stage, and I was like, "Look, even as a comedian, that's one time I don't want to hear laughter. Like I don't need like in that. I'm like, hey, look at this. I'm trying to get like in the mood. Like, oh, look at this porn, and she's like, oh my god, that's so stupid. It's crooked. It's crooked. Look at it. And I'm like, just like, you totally. She just ruined.
She was heckling the porn.
Everything. Yeah. She was kick-flicking the porn. She was just like, look, did you see how stupid it was when the fucking pirates showed up? I was like, oh, man.
Oh, my God. But that was...
She was like, who gets turned on to this? And I'm like, what?
No one. Crazy people.
Can you just turn around while I finish? Thanks. Appreciate that.
Who gets turned on to this? It's like hundreds, thousands of... There are dozens of us. Vanessa, there are dozens.
Dozens?
That's from...
Yeah.
Never nudes.
Let me see here. There was a thing that I wanted to talk about. Where was it? Here we go.
Yeah, we got derailed by porn.
Hungry photographer deletes all photos and leaves after being denied food at a wedding. Yeah. And then the caption: "Man's got denied a plate and walked off." I mean, yeah,
as he should, as he fucking should.
So. The story took place on Reddit. There's an article.
She's triggered.
There's a link to the article. And so the story gets a little weird because this guy is not a professional photographer. He is a professional dog groomer, and then he likes to take pictures of the pets once they are groomed. He takes pictures. So there's a couple that he does this, and then there's a couple that he groomed their dog, and then they said, look, we are on a shoestring budget for a wedding. We'd love for you to be our wedding photographer. And he said, I'm not a photographer. And he's like, look, we like the pictures that you take. They don't have to be perfect. We would just, you have a nice camera, and if you could just take pictures, we'll pay you $250. It's again not a real photographer. It's not a real thing. We don't expect perfection from you. Whatever you can do, whatever. And he decided to say, okay, fine. And then he got there. He said that he got there at 11 a.m. and did a lot of pre-setup and a lot of pre-pictures before the ceremony. Then the ceremony happened. And then at around 7:30, if I'm remembering the story correctly, I sent the link in the chat, in the private chat, of StreamYard, not anything else. So
I don't see it.
I sent it earlier today. Did it not show up?
Not in the stream.
Anyway, so then he asked. Oh, the photographer, quote unquote, is friends with the. That's how they know each other. Mm-hmm. And then he asked if he could rest for 5 minutes and just eat something or get some water because it was an especially hot day. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was in India. If I'm not mistaken.
So hot.
And they so hot. Like a hot day in India is hot. It's just every day in India is hot, right? Like I just picture that. That's what I picture. But So he was told no. He was told no that he can't sit down and eat because he needs to take more. He needs to take pictures. And then they didn't set a plate for him. They didn't set there's no table where he could have. There was no space at any table. So the bride was like, "No, there's no space at any table. We didn't even set you up for any table. Like all the tables are full." And he's like, "I just need a rest for like 5 or 10 minutes." And then she said no. So then he went to his friend, the groom. The groom then confirmed what the bride said, and he's like, "So I'm not gonna get any food, and I'm not gonna be allowed to rest." And he says, "No, you need to take more pictures." And he then proceeded in front of the groom to delete his card, his memory card. So deleted every single picture of the ceremony and walked away and left.
So I found the actual the "Am I the Asshole" post. It came from "Am I the Asshole?"
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
well, it came from Reddit. It came from Reddit first.
It got shared around for sure.
I think I read this one.
Should I read it?
Yeah, read it.
I read it. Am I the asshole for deleting? We're doing impromptu. Am I the asshole for deleting my friend's wedding photos in front of them? I'm not really a photographer. I'm a dog groomer. I take lots of photos of dogs all day to put on my Facebook and Instagram. It's my thing. If that makes sense, it's my thing. If that makes sense, a cut and a photo with every appointment. I very seldom shoot things other than dogs, even if I have a nice setup. A friend got married a few days ago and wanting to save money asked if I'd shoot it for them. I told him it's not really my forte, but he convinced me by saying he didn't care if they were perfect. They were on a shoestring budget, and I agreed to shoot it for $250, which is nothing for a 10-hour event. It's true.
Oh, they did a 10-hour.
Look at Stephanie's face. Look at Stephanie's face.
I want to say,
are you out of your mind? I don't get out of bed for less than $500, Stephanie. Yeah. Like that face is with that.
On the day of, I'm driving around following the bride as she goes from appointment to appointment before the ceremony, taking photos along the way. I shoot the ceremony itself, and during the reception, I'm shooting speeches and people mingling. I started around 11 a.m. and was due to finish around 7:30 p.m. Around 5 p.m., food is being served, and I was told I cannot stop to eat because I need to be a photographer. In fact, they didn't save me a spot at any table. I'm getting tired at this point, and kind of regretting doing this for next to nothing. It's also unbelievably hot. The venue is an old Veterans Legion, like a VFW, I guess, and it's like 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's no AC. I told the groom I need to take off for 20 minutes to go get something to eat and drink. There's no open bar or anything. I can't even get water, and my 2 water bottles are long empty. He tells me I need to either be photographer or leave without pay. With the heat, being hungry, and generally annoyed at the circumstances, I asked if he was sure. He said yes, so I deleted all the photos in front of him and took off, saying I'm not his photographer anymore. If I was to be paid $250, honestly, at that point, I would have paid $250 just for a glass of cold water and somewhere to sit for 5 minutes. Was I the asshole? I went right on. They went right on their honeymoon, and they've been off of social media. But a lot of people have been posting on their wall asking about photos with 0 responses. Because that's the thing, is that now it's like social media.
You done fucked up, Ron.
You done fucked up, Ron.
I do not blame this man.
No, absolutely.
Wait. First of all, before we get to this, I just like to take a second to say how very close I was in that story. And
you nailed it. Yeah, you really did a good job.
I was like, I did some pretty. I don't know if this was India. That's the only thing, because I read it from a news article. I didn't read it from the Reddit post. But okay.
I'll look. Anyway. You guys talk. I'll look. So
he's not. But he's not the. No, he's not.
No.
Right?
Of course not. But that does.
I want to hear what Steph has to say.
Yeah.
Well, first, before I go into my spiel, actually check out what Melly has been posting in her comments, because Melly is actually her previous role was an event coordinator. She's actually works for hotels and stuff, so she actually puts together and helps vendors through these big events.
Okay, Melly, how did you hear about the podcast to begin with? Are you friends? Are we friends with Melly?
Yeah, we're friends.
Am I friends with Melly? Melly? Okay. Melly says.
You've met Melly.
Well, that's not how that works. Vendors.
Missy, do you have the ability to click on the comments?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
let Missy do that so Neri can see on his phone.
I still got it.
I can hide it. I can hide it. That's not how that works. Vendors have writers and should be communicated prior. And then she said if he didn't communicate it, that's not automatically understood that they would have a vendor meal. But he wasn't a vendor, he was a buddy.
Yeah, right. But that's why she continues.
However, the bride and groom should still honor the request because he's doing the favor. And she says, silly, they probably had missing guests and paid for it anyway, so they should have just honored it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that it feels to me more like they've really leaned into the servant role of this whole thing.
Yes, they
and that's
swapped
super
things.
fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, it went from like, oh, he's doing us a solid and doing us a favor because we don't really need it to be super like over the top to all of a sudden like you are working for us, you're the help. And that's the problem is sometimes people end up viewing these vendors as the help TM and like end up acting in this like condescending way. To me,
well, that's how you get shit pies. That's how you get shit pies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say
that's
that
a fucking literary. That's a literary reference. I get nothing from
the help. It was the help.
You know what? Yes, Neri.
Oh my god.
But it's true.
Give
like,
me credit.
Like he just said, "Hey, I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna go pop over to get something to eat real quick, and something to drink." And then the guy's like, "No, you have to stay." And it's like, yo, it is illegal for you to make someone work for an extended amount of time without giving them a break already. So like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know,
10 hours and you didn't even give the guy freaking water.
Yeah,
water.
No open bar. These people suck. These people are trash. But also like. I will say the guy is not like $250. Okay, I'm giving you the friend rate, give that to me up front because you don't care how it turns out. You just want some
it should have been up front, but usually it should be understood. Like it also should be understood that if someone is doing you the solid as a friend, that you should treat them as said friend and then actually give them accommodations on the actual day. Treat them as if they are also one of the guests.
Guests, yeah.
Because they are helping you. So
has that ever happened to you? Where they treat you like shit? Like where they go full bridezilla?
Oh, sure. Of course. I've had people do that. I very early on in my career learned to put it in my contract that people not only had to give me somewhere to sit. I didn't have to sit among the guests. I actually didn't like sitting among the guests because I don't know you people. I just want to take pictures of you. I don't need to socialize right now. Like just somewhere to sit unless I'm like cool with the bride and groom and then I'm okay with mingling. And I definitely needed meals provided for me and any assistant I had.
Right.
So anyone who was helping me on the day also needed to be fed and given drinks whenever we had like needed drinks. So like it's one of those things where like
my favorite story of Steph dealing with a bridezilla was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it a bridezilla or was it just a woman who was just not, she was very upset and she kept telling Stephanie that she wanted a higher angle photo.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one this is.
That she kept getting upset at Stephanie because she wanted a higher angle photo. The photo needs to be higher and higher and higher. And everything Stephanie did was like, okay. And then when I was told the story, because again, I wasn't there, but I was told the story, we made the joke where like, do you have a drone? Do you have a helicopter? Like, how far up do you need to go? And that was one of my favorite things because this lady was getting upset, and then Stephanie when Stephanie told me the story, she was like, she had to like handle this with customer service. She couldn't just say, go fuck yourself. She had to be like, okay, higher. And she just kept wanting, no, too low. I need higher. Like, how much higher?
Let me call up my fucking satellite while I'm at it. Yeah, let me just get some sat photos. You got Google Earth?
Yeah. I've had to do some ridiculous shit for people in the past.
Rookie says, even if OP put up with the assholery, how good do you think the photos are going to be if the photographer's about to pass out? It's true.
Yeah, right. You can't focus.
I disagree with, I went through a phase where I got asked to play guitar at a bunch of weddings. And I had the complete opposite. What do you mean? What?
I was just like, their budget must have been real shoestring.
Yeah. It was I had to play guitar at, the one that really stood out was, I went and they were like, oh, we'll just put you at a table. And because they were like, oh, you get to eat or whatever, just come to the reception as one of the guests. And I was like, okay, it was a big wedding. And It spared no expense. And the
they spared some expense on the music.
No. It was because I wasn't the only performer.
Oh, it was a showcase. Got it.
It was just like a playing the song. Whatever. Fuck you. And the
I'm adding to the story.
Did you think I said fuck you to you? No.
I'm just saying.
To your left.
Generally speaking, we're contextualizing the situation.
Yes.
Go on.
I'm totally making fun of him.
Yeah.
There is no context with just cackling.
Yeah. But okay. So the reception part was, so I was just at this wedding where I didn't know anybody. That's happened to me a couple times where I've been like a +1 to a wedding, and like I like that shit. Free food. I get to hang out. I get to wear a suit. It's nice. It's a good time. And so this was back when they would put disposable cameras at all the tables, and then they would go get all those pictures developed later. And so at some point, because I was, being a goofy guy, I was like at the table and I was introducing myself. I'm like, oh no, I'm just here. And people since I played guitar, they were like, oh yeah, we saw you. Oh, that's great. Oh, how do you know? I'm like, oh, I'm friends with the sister of whoever, blah, 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 blah. And then I would get in the pictures of people taking pictures. Then I made it my point to get in a picture with each camera at every table.
Oh God. Because
I knew that at some point, 6 months down the road, when they're going through all these pictures, they're going to be like, who is this guy? Who's this? Is this guy? Do you know this guy? Why is he in every picture? Like, why is he everywhere? And 6 months later, without fail, my friend calls me and like, yo, I just got a call from my sister saying that you're in like every table's pictures and nobody knows who the fuck you are. They've called 16 different people. It was like
so the gig was very memorable. They remember.
Yeah. They didn't know what relationship, but I was like in every picture, like, hey, whatever, da. You could just go with the bit of the story. You had to add your own.
I just think it's funny that they're like, you played guitar at their wedding and they couldn't remember who the fuck you were.
It was a Catholic wedding. I was upstairs. I was up in the back.
He wasn't like in the reception playing guitar.
Yeah, he wasn't like in their face. He was just.
You weren't in the stands. You didn't play in the reception?
No, I played in the ceremony.
In the ceremony, he said that.
Again, that's even weirder. All right, we got some comments. Tanya?
Oh, yeah, my mom. Hey, Mom. Yep, I remember. I photographed weddings too, and it's a big responsibility. The more comfortable they make you feel, the better the vibe is, and that's reflected in the outcome. That's
100%.
Mom is a great photographer.
And Rookie said
Mike took pics of his balls on everything again. I do not take pictures of crimes. I just do the crimes, like that's all I do.
No evidence.
But yeah, I mean, I like going to weddings. I like going to weddings of people I have no.
I don't.
Look, honestly, there is a very different vibe to the weddings where the bride and groom treat you as if you're part of the celebration. And are also appreciative of the skill set, right? Because no matter what, these people, for this original photographer from the story, regardless of whether they're giving him the smaller rate, all this stuff, they liked his stuff enough where they invited him to come take photos of their fucking wedding. At that point, don't piss the man off.
They wanted some free shit, man. That's what they wanted.
But it's usually people. It's usually the beggars who want to be choosers.
Do you understand how much of a bitch this situation is? That this guy's used to dealing with actual bitches.
Yeah,
and these people were acting worse than the bitches that he normally deals with. That's hilarious.
You know what this reminds me? Have you seen videos of the construction workers who, after they finish, the people don't want to pay, and then they just tear that shit down that they just built? It is some of the best. Oh, dude,
I hate it
is amazing.
I've never seen a construction worker finish anything, so I've never seen that.
But it happens. Like builders have.
It's gonna be 4 more months.
I wonder if you can play the video. There's a bunch of them there. The first one that's there is like a British thing. Can we show British things?
No,
it's a news clip.
I don't
He's about to get his redemption movie. Don't
fuck you, Instagram.
Don't roll the dice.
Come at us with those copyright claims. What do you feel? Everyone here agrees.
The opinions shared by Mike Bergdahl are his and his alone.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I did not sign off to these terms and conditions. I did not.
I'm watching. So there was also there's one here of a mechanic that the guy had fixed the rear windshield, and the girl was like an old lady is like not happy with it. So he comes out, he's like, "Oh, you're not happy with it? You're not gonna pay?" He's like, "All right, fine." And then he goes to walk away. And then so she's like, "Oh, I guess I won." And she gets back in the car. He comes back out with a fucking baseball bat and smashes the window. And then it's like, "Well, you never paid for it anyway." And I'm in my mind, I'm like, that's gotta feel good in the moment, but that's gotta fuck you later. But that's gotta feel so good in the moment to just be like, "Fuck you." Like him, the guy deleting the pictures. The guy deleting the pictures must have been like so cathartic, where he's like, "Yeah, I had a shitty day." Click, delete.
I just think that they're
him deleting the pictures. Him deleting the pictures in my if had that been me, that walk away would have been Iron Man with shit blown up in the background. That's how I would have felt like.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yeah, except the explosion is all their hopes and dreams. But whatever.
Missy, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know. Now I'm visualizing you walking away with explosions behind you. So I forgot what I was gonna say.
Someone edit that. I would love to see like they're just nary
slow
motion.
Someone will. Don't you worry.
No, I got to make it look like
I may or may not have
videos.
I may or may not have already done that. So,
oh boy,
just this instance.
But that is such a moment of control, though, right? Like to finally like taking ownership of the situation and like you don't tell me what to do. Click delete.
I like to call that
about it. Yes,
I personally like to call that moment. Has everyone seen Larry Crown in this room?
No,
the Tom Hanks movie.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you should see the movie. But I like to call those moments where you hit the wall and you're just like, that's it. It's fuck it o'clock. I call it the Larry Crown moment because there's just a scene where that happens where one of the characters is like, I'm fucking done. And I've had some of those moments in real life, and I have to tell you, the adrenaline is sick. It's fucking sick. So when you hit that moment where you're like, ding, like that's like you're not gonna sleep better than that night. You really not. Like I personally I
just know the kind of person I am. Like I at that moment would feel super empowered and super like, yeah, fuck that. But all of a sudden, like a week later, I'd be in bed being like, oh shit.
Yeah, I've shit like that in the hospital where like some crazy patient or some annoying asshole patient is, and I said something real smart and real clever in the moment, but then I like literally like moments later, like in the moment it feels like that the Harlem Nights moment where it's like, yeah, you put your mother on the phone,
yeah,
I ain't never coming home, and then he hangs up and he's like, yeah. But then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for that. And I just like it's like you just had to wait for the bomb to drop. You know what I mean? Like you had to wait for the other shoe to drop.
That's
because like in my head, I'd be thinking about whatever small claims thing can come chase after me.
Right.
I've only felt that way when I thought I was honking at a regular car in front of me and it was actual funeral procession. That's when I was like, ooh.
You honked at people.
That's going to cost me points. That's going to cost me points.
Yeah.
I didn't.
She was
this
like,
is
move it, you fucking deadbeat. Like,
no, I was not like that. I was at a light. I was.
My dead grandma drives better than you.
I was at a light and I didn't realize what was happening. On top of that, to add insult to injury, my radio was like at volume 45. So I'm like, like trying to honk.
And it was Perot's happy.
And then they finally moved out of the way. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And I'm like,
the dust. That's you.
I'm driving by and it's like a hearse. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. But whatever. That's the only time that I've been like, maybe I shouldn't have. Well, back when I used to have like anger management issues, then I would definitely have that moment of regret. But that doesn't happen anymore because I fixed that shit.
Like, back when he said, he's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I used to have anger. Yeah, I used to have anger management problems. I did.
Past tense. You said past tense, right?
No, but now she's at peace with it. It's different.
It's not like the corn and porn thing, right? I'm hearing this correctly. I'm just
it's not anger management anymore. It's just anger management solutions.
No, actually, I do not have anger management problems anymore. Thank you. You guys are mistaken, like no patience and anger management issues. Like they're not the same thing. They look the same. They look the same, but they're not.
For comedic effect on a comedy podcast.
Well, and by the way, just so like I know this is gonna itch your brain until the end of time. Yes, Neri, I did say corn before I said porn.
Yeah.
So shut up.
It's not gonna itch my brain because I was like, I know what I heard, but I
we defended you.
The betrayal.
We defended you, Missy.
I remember that. I know you did, but I remember thinking to myself, in case you heard it wrong, maybe I heard it wrong, and I'm like, oh, I thought I heard it wrong, or what I heard is what I said. But at no point did I ever think to myself, I'm crazy. I'll be like, no, I'm just gonna replay this.
Yeah, no, because obviously you're never wrong.
Sense for you'd be calling him out for porn.
Yeah.
Well, should we do?
Thank you for fessing up to it now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that he was 1000% gonna go back to the audio and like play it over and over again, and then call me and be like, "You did fucking say corn." So like, I'm just getting ahead of it.
Or I'm gonna go back and listen to the audio so I can see what snippet I'm gonna use for the promo to post on the Instagram. But yes, you're right. Whichever one of those two was definitely gonna happen.
Both of those was gonna happen because you're a pedantic motherfucker. So let's not pretend like that's not what it is.
Yes,
at least you accept him for who he is.
Fuck a mother. I do fuck a mother. Absolutely.
I mean, should we do an Am I the Asshole?
Yeah. Oh wait, before we move on to the next subject, the last 3 comments from listeners.
Okay, so Chiquita says either you get paid in advance and then delete, or don't delete the pics and charge more, like a ransom. Yes, totally agree.
Hold the pictures hostage. Yeah,
like that. I like that. Melly says hospitality industry equals wanting to do that, fantasizing it, and never doing it, kind of like porn. LOL.
Full circle comes around. Full circle.
Rookie said he should have saved the photo so he could send them pics of him deleting them one by one until they pay the ransom.
Like click.
I'm sorry, Chiquita. Yo pensando que my English is not very good looking. Corn. Yeah, sorry guys.
Corn.
Is it because of the bank thing?
What?
Where you were at the bank teller with that? She was in the back. She had me on speakerphone one time, and she went to the bank. And then she goes, "I'm at the bank, and you're on speaker, so don't say anything."
Oh yeah, I had him connected to my speakers. I had him like connected, and
why
I'm like,
would you?
And this was the first and last time in my defense. But I pull up and I'm like, "Hang on, I'm talking to the bank teller." Roll the window down, and I'm like, and they're just going, "Born!" Just like at volume 10. And I was like, like I hung up on him. I accelerated because I fucking started spazzing out. Like it was a whole scene.
You literally put a cookie in front of a child and said, "Don't eat it."
This was like year 1 of our friendship. I didn't know yet. I wasn't well versed.
This is what I love about this situation. One, remembering the story is really funny because she legit flipped out. She didn't know. She didn't like she didn't know what to touch or press to like make it stop, put the window up or put the radio down. She didn't know what to do. So that was funny. But I love the fact that as we're setting up the story, you guys already know what happened, right? Because it's a short, and both Mike and Steph were like, "Oh, that's on you." Like you totally victim blamed. You were like, if you knew how he was gonna act, that's on you. Like
that was absolutely victim blaming.
It was. But you know what?
Admittedly,
that was the first and I don't even remember what I was wearing. So you're right. It was totally.
My face hurts so much, but that was so funny because you guys were like, immediately, and these are the same 2 people who were like, how. Like it's not the woman's responsibility today. She should be able to wear whatever she wants and blah blah blah. And then you guys are like, "Oh, you said that to Neri? That's on you. That's on you. Who fucking on you?"
The thing is that
what's in the description? What's in the description of the episode? I know I put some shit down.
It says 332.
Sure talked about it.
No. It's where is it?
Sorry.
No. I gotta find. I have it here. It says Why? What the fuck does it say? All right. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp go down for 8 hours. The world almost stopped. Hungry wedding photographer walks away from a job, and Neri is still on IG jail. Oh, we talked about.
Check. Look at that. We hit the agenda, guys.
I think before we started recording, I was bringing up random things to talk about. That's why you thought that.
Well, we brought up the fact that I still feel pretty because I got hit on by a gay couple. Can we talk about that? Have we mentioned it? That's I feel pretty.
Any respectful admission of someone's like any compliment that is genuine feels good. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like gay people give genuine compliments, so it's like it's an upgrade from a regular person giving you like a regular straight person, regular straight person.
You know, not extra.
Do I hold any of that power then?
No, I mean genuinely, like when someone, I think when a bi person compliments you, I think it is more powerful because you are
Do I have a newfound power?
Like yeah.
Yes, you've ascended.
Because you judge people when you judge someone's attractiveness, you're like not excluding a whole like giant chunk of the population. You're including attractiveness across the entire spectrum of gender, and then it's like, oh, I'm real pretty. I am.
Well, no, hold on. That only counts. That only counts if they're saying that you're prettier than the other gender. So if they said, Mike, I would do you before I do insert whatever girl here.
No, that's not how that works.
The bi thing. No. You're not taking this away from me.
I think I would know.
Gay guys complimenting me. Yeah, you're not taking this away from me. Gay guys complimenting me is the highest.
No one's taking it away from you.
No one is taking it away.
No, he said, but when a person who's bi compliments you, that's even the highest. No, it's not. The gay guy compliment
Nary,
couple.
Nary,
and they're in a loving.
Focus.
No, they're in a loving relationship.
No, focus.
And they still both
Look at me.
said,
Look at me.
No,
look at me. Look at me. That is your color, and you look very pretty.
I just think it's.
I'm just saying that is your color, and you also look very pretty. Now you have it from multiple sides.
I got 10 more minutes. What do we got? Hit me.
Oh, am I the asshole for blowing up at my husband over formula, or am I the asshole for excluding my nephew from my son's birthday party? Which one would you?
Both of these are so touchy.
I want both.
I'll go with the baby formula.
I want both.
I want
baby.
Well, you could. We'll just do the baby formula, and then I leave, and then
we can do that. Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for blowing up at my husband over baby formula? My husband and I welcomed our son 6 months ago. Due to medical issues, I recently started feeding my son formula, which is what my husband always wanted because he used to complain about lack of bonding time to spend with our son. My husband demanded that we split formula feeding time 50%, 50-50, no more, no less. Weird. I had no problem with this demand, but he started leaving other tasks that he's supposed to do, causing me to pick up the slack, like changing and bathing, etc. But it's not really a problem compared to what he's been doing lately. I discovered that he's been drinking our son's formula whenever it's his turn to feed him. Why does he do that? No idea, but so far I've caught him doing it several times. He kept making excuses saying he only drinks it after our son was already full, so he drinks the rest since it tastes good. Okay.
Where's the red flags?
I asked him to stop because the bottle needs to be clean, and he keeps drinking from it and not clean it afterwards. And that is... and clean up. I was done getting new bottles and taking care of sanitizing after him. I caught him doing it days ago, and he says I was making a big deal out of it since he only drinks after making sure our son's no longer hungry. But yesterday I caught him drinking from the bottle that was full. Not just that, but he was taking turns with our son by feeding him some, then drinking some himself. I saw this and blew up asking why he kept drinking the formula that I pay for.
And that shit is pricey, bro.
That I pay for. It's expensive where I'm from, and causing our son to not receive proper
Earth. Are you from Earth, madam?
Yeah, it's just not cheap.
And not receiving proper feeding, and worst, getting our son the risk of bacteria or infection by putting the bottle in his mouth. He apologized to get me off his back, but I told him I'll be handling feeding from now on. And he looked shocked, then said, I can't take away his bonding time with his son. I said I was serious, and if he'll push me, then I'll go stay with my mom. He said he gave a lengthy lecture saying, oh, you're going to your mom's? Really? How long are you planning on keeping my son away from me? Then are you going to come back till I apologize for wanting to exercise the simple right of feeding my son? And I said I already gave him a warning and he didn't stop. Plus, he has other forms of bonding with our son, like changing, bathing, and playing with him. But he objected and said it's not the same, and I overreacted over formula and was being controlling as if this was my son alone, and demanded to keep his fair share of formula feeding time. The conflict hasn't been resolved yet, and he's acting like I offended him with what I said. Am I the asshole?
Well, I will say, to start off, before anybody else, she gave her husband a bottle of formula. What did he expect? This is on her. She should know what was going to happen.
See, I got it, Neri. I got
it. Preset precedent or expectation
you,
amongst people.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's psycho. He's psycho. There's red flags galore.
I'm curious.
Thank you, Melly.
Yeah, thank you, Melly. Red flags. I'm curious as to where this is taking place. I would be curious as to, like, she said, like, where I'm from. I wonder.
Well, it's somewhere very remote where formula is expensive.
No. What I mean, like. I mean,
to the listener, formula is super expensive everywhere. What the fuck is she talking about? Like, super expensive.
Look, honestly,
that's why
maybe she just doesn't know how much it is everywhere. Maybe she's just trying to be safe.
I know that's what she's doing. Just the way it came off is like, oh, really? It's like those people, it's like where I'm from.
Can you imagine if it's even more expensive somewhere else? Like, I don't honestly.
But everything's relative. Everything's relative. If you live in New York City, rent's more expensive, but you get paid more by your job, right? Theoretically speaking, we're talking about everything's relative. So formula is expensive no matter where the fuck you go. Yes, if she's visiting a different city and now she has to pay higher prices, that's gonna suck. But she's not. So regardless, I'm not trying to be pedantic. Let's move on. She is clearly not the asshole. This guy's weird as fuck. Formula does not taste good. It fucking doesn't. I have a 5-month-old baby at home.
I was curious about that.
I'm speaking like 100% certainty.
I mean, they love it.
Even if it does taste, yeah. Even if it does taste good to this, even if it does taste good to this guy. Again, I don't like tuna, so who fucking everything. Food is whatever. It's opinion, but the fact that you're taking your son's. I was fine with him when he said, "Look, bro, the kid's done with it. I'll just have the extra, even though you could refrigerate that and whatever." But
sure.
But really has when you're not having when you start taking from the bottle that's full before your son even eats, that's the problem for me. Now that's a problem. Yeah, and I don't think 100%. She's overreacting. I don't think she's overreacting, and I think. That's a weird bonding time moment, I think. Because
the insistence of it is just really weird. Like,
thank you. Yes.
Yeah, like the insistence of the split time and like that being the thing, and then like the fact that he's also giving up the other stuff. Like he's not doing any of the other parenting things, only this one thing. And it's like, what?
Man, yeah.
And also, she mentioned she paid for the formula. Like, what is he paying for?
Yeah, I'm curious as to what the whole situation is because, like, what I don't know, man. It's just super weird. The 50-50, no more, no less. That caught me where he's like 50-50, no more, no less, which means it has to be split so evenly. I wonder if they're married. Did she say husband?
Sometimes
husband, right?
Or father.
A father. Who knows? But either way,
husband.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of the
this gives me a lot of Hand That Rocks the Cradle vibes. But go ahead, continue.
Mike's mom says, "What the fuck? What a weirdo!
What a weirdo!" Yeah.
Actually, she said, "Why the face? What a weirdo!
Why the face?" Moms and dads say, "Why the face?"
Chiquita says, "So expensive." I heard formula. Melly wants to know. That's fucking weird. And also, why is she paying alone?
Yeah.
She thinks that the husband's the asshole. And then she says she thinks it's weird that the husband wants to drink formula. Maybe it's just me. It's not just you.
No, it's universal. It's just this guy's weird.
It doesn't seem very kosher.
It doesn't seem appetizing. Like
no.
I've there are people out there that drink breast milk, right? Neri, have you ever drank breast milk? And Steph?
I tried it. I mean, it came out of my own body.
Yeah,
so
no,
I was like, what is this? Oh yeah, all right.
Is it to give us a flavor profile? Give us a breakdown.
It's sweeter
I don't
than
know.
formula.
Yeah, it was sweet. It's kind of like like lactose-free milk, how it's like sweeter than actual milk, like
I've never
usual
had
milk.
lactose-free milk either. That's on the taste
Or
test.
like soy, like you know how it's
Lactose-free
like
milk,
sweeter?
breast milk, and then those are on my
It's like
list.
it was sweeter. I mean, mind you, I didn't try much of it because I didn't have the best a lot of supply. So I'm like, this
Listen,
is gold. I must save it.
I'm fine with the breast milk thing. Like even that's a kink, by the way. Going back to porn, even that's a kink.
Oh yeah.
But what I will
say
about the baby formula is even when you put chocolate syrup, even when you put Hershey's chocolate syrup, that doesn't taste good. It doesn't. It just doesn't taste good. I'm telling you, it does not taste good.
You've tried all kinds.
Do we want to spend time on this? Or...
You know what? Breast milk sounds like the perfect thing to put in coffee. And also, if you drink your own breast milk, is it vegan? Because it's an animal product.
What?
No?
Where are we going? Can we?
No, I guess it's not vegan at that point.
Huh?
But like we're still considered animals too, so it's like not vegan at that point.
It's not. If you there are people.
What
that
if you made cheese out of it?
Yes, it's a thing.
I'm gonna go now.
They make cheese out of breast milk.
Yeah, you should watch
like
Season.
A tres leches.
You should watch Season, and in episode 3 of Season's a TV podcast, we run down season 3 of
Superstore.
NBC Superstore, and there's a whole storyline where there's a guy infatuated. He thinks it's a great idea to make breast milk cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He looks for investors, and then they ask him, like, what does it taste like? He's like, oh, I'm not trying it.
Yeah.
Would lactose intolerant people be able to eat it?
Yeah. He pushes it on somebody. He pushes it on somebody, and then he says,
look at me and Steph are like, this is making way too much sense. This is
there's a hipster
awesome.
somewhere that would
Melly's with me. Take me out. Take me out.
I like the fact that Melly came into the conversation and goes, oh, you guys are talking about porn? Awesome. Let's do this. Ride. And they're like, oh, breast milk. I'm out.
Okay, wait. Here comes Rookie. Here comes Rookie. It's not vegan, but it's cruelty free. Hopefully.
Listen, guys, I love you. I got a show to do. I gotta go. I gotta run. Continue the podcast. Do another. Check out geekbro.net. Thank you guys very much.
We'll do the wrap.
I love you guys.
No, we won't. Bye.
Bye. Okay. What am I doing now? Okay.
Wait, we need to switch. This is weird.
You want me on the? You gotta just click and. There we go. Okay. Am I the asshole for excluding my nephew from my son's birthday party?
Oh my god, family drama.
I love it. My brother, his
just
wife,
stop having kids. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I did. Am I the asshole for excluding my nephew from my son's birthday party? My brother, his wife, and 5-year-old son, my nephew, have been living at my parents' house since 2019 because of financial issues. My nephew's spoiled. He misbehaves and gets away with everything, throws epic temper tantrums if things don't go his way. I have an 8-year-old son, and every year when his birthday party's over and everyone gets ready to go home, my nephew would collect the gifts my son received and throw a tantrum till we let him go home with them. My sister-in-law would spend an hour complaining about their financial situation and tried to convince me to let my nephew keep all the gifts because he saw them. Wow. I tried to hide them in another room, but my nephew got access. I suggested making a list of the toys my son received so my brother and sister-in-law would buy similar stuff for my nephew, and they'd end up leaving with them. My son would feel devastated and sad afterwards. They're fucking stealing from a child. Not just that, but in a matter of a week, we'd visit my parents' house and see most of the toys destroyed. This year, as my son's 9th birthday rolled around, my husband straightforward said, listen, I don't want what happened in the past couple of years to happen again. It's time we put an end to your brother and his wife's enablement. Your nephew shouldn't be invited if you don't want issues at the party. I'm just letting you know if they bring him anyway, I'm taking the party over to my parents' house 3 hours away. Wow. Okay. So I called my brother and let him know that he either leave his son at home and attend my son's birthday with his wife or not attend if he didn't want to go. He hung up, then called again a few minutes and was livid, asking if I was serious about what I said. about excluding his son from his cousin's birthday. And I said, the reason for that is because of my nephew's misbehavior. He laughed, saying, what misbehavior? He's a kid, for Christ's sakes. Go ahead and name one kid who doesn't misbehave. Okay. I said that what his son does, which is taking my son's birthday gifts, then crying and yelling his way into leaving with them, was not fair, because those gifts were given to him and he shouldn't be guilted into giving them away on his birthday. My brother started talking about his struggle to buy his kid new toys and said him and I should encourage the kids to share. I said no, because everyone deserves to receive gifts and not be expected to share or give them away. I said that he and his wife are welcome to attend, but my nephew isn't. He first begged and promised he won't let my son touch anything, but then he got angry and said he was completely appalled by my coldness and cruelty to exclude my nephew like that. He said his son understands what's going on, and once he tells him his aunt excluded him from his cousin's birthday party, I shouldn't act surprised, because neither he or his son will forget how I treated them, and then hung up. My mom roasted me about my decision, saying I'm causing emotional damage over a few gifts. Sure. She and Dad wanted me to apologize and invite my brother's family. That's the end. There's nothing.
We know who the favorite child is. For
Oh
her.
my God. When you're not the favorite, guys, I have to tell you, this shit is just.
Bro.
Parent in the room.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
I'm going to say something specific. I was so ready to be like, they're the assholes. OP's not the asshole. The one thing that I will say about, I will give this the whole everybody sucks here thing rather than the children, is because like they pinned it on the child and said like the child's not allowed to come because he does this, this, and this and that.
Yes.
When that's a parenting decision. Like the parents support the child in doing this, encourage the child, reward him by giving him the gifts, do not correct their own child, and then like expect it to keep happening. A kid is going to try to do whatever they can. They're just going to get upset. And if a toy's there, they want the toy. They're a freaking child. You're supposed to be teaching them better.
And the kid's 5, right? So the kid's 5. So that is prime age for like being a spoiled, like for getting all of the bad habits and putting them into action, because you're now developing a personality, these kids. So the fact that they didn't immediately point to the parents. And then invite the parents, but not the child, to an 8-year-old's birthday party is fucking weird. That is weird. I don't know. I would love to know.
The solution wasn't a good solution. Like that wasn't the right solution.
Everybody's handling this very poorly.
Yeah, like they're right in the sense that like every action that these people have taken has been wrong in the past, but also this small child was like, what, if he's 5 now, that means that the last 2 birthdays he was 3 years old and 4 years old. Like the height of them not knowing how to regulate their emotions.
Yeah, and then also like this has happened multiple years in a row. It's like, how did you even let it happen once? You know what I mean? Like, how do you let the kid take? I mean this genuinely, and not necessarily. I would love to know the nationality or ethnicity of these people. I'd be curious as to what that drive is to have adults at the kids' party, because that feels very like familiar to me as a Latino, to just have like a 5-year-old's birthday party turn into a fucking pachanga like crazy party. You know what I mean? I mean, like adults getting smashed at a child's birthday party is very familiar.
Typical, yes.
Yeah. But also I would love to see like why, like none of this makes any sense. None of this makes any sense.
So some thoughts. It's always interesting to me how poorly adults handle these situations, because I get to watch this type of shit as a spectator. Often, and it's typically we
always go the wrong way.
There you go. It's typically the parents who are the adults in the situation that are acting more fucked up than the kids. 9 times out of 10, this is my objective observation. Children are going to do what you let them do. That's true for children, and that's true for adults. That's why as adults we we teach people how to treat we teach people as adults how to treat us, right? But children will fucking push it until you stop them.
Yeah, they don't know what the boundaries are yet.
They don't know boundaries. They don't know, they want what they want, and that's it, right? So the fact that I'm with Steph on this, and the fact that the parents were like, oh, you adults can come but not child to this kid's party makes no fucking sense. That I don't understand that.
None of that makes sense.
I'm actually relieved when I'm not invited to kids' parties because I don't have anything to fucking do there. There's like no valid excuse for me to be there. Yes, kids, like the kids in my life, I love them and they love me, sure, but they don't give a shit if I'm at their birthday party or not. 9 times out of 10, they don't give a fuck. Unless like for the gift, and then I can fucking die in front of them. They don't care. Wow. So it's true. It's true. So like you can't. The rationale behind leaving the kid home, but the adults can come, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the gifts thing is also like all of the gifts. Like it says specifically, every gift they take,
and he wants all of them.
Every gift.
He sounds like Harry Potter's fucking cousin.
He's a Dudley.
He's a fucking Dudley. He's like 32. Yeah. So like. I don't understand what that is. I'm all for like, so weird. You know, I think that I've seen it happen in my family, which is great, breaking generational habits. But I've seen it happen in my family where instead of just yelling and berating a kid, you can talk them through what's happening. I've seen Neri do this with his kids. Yeah. Like he has a fucking mastery for this shit. I've seen this happen with my family where if they don't understand, if they're at an age where they obviously cognitively can't understand why they wouldn't be allowed to take whatever they want, you can talk them through the logic as to why it's not your day or it's not your toys or whatever. You can do that. If you choose not to, you're an asshole.
Contrary, you're gonna end up having that kid that tries to blow out the other kid's candles.
Oh, have you
that's happened. That's happened at birthday. I mean, it's so fucking awkward. And I've actually been to parties where similar, not in that the nephew was trying to take the birthday presents away, but like let's say like there was a family picture. And it was like mom, dad, and 2 kids, and then the nephew wanted to be in that picture. Right. And then the nephew's mom was like not batting an eye, and it was time to sing happy birthday, and the fucking nephew jumped in and blew out the and like I'm watching this, and I'm like, is nobody gonna beat this kid up? Like not even the other kids? I don't understand. Like this shit doesn't check out. So
there
I don't.
That video.
I just don't think you should have kids. I think that's the solution to everything. Just don't fucking have kids.
Story.
Or like just raise them to not be assholes.
Yeah, that's also
a backup plan.
I love the video of that kid that's freaking the fuck out next to the kid who's actually his birthday, and there's an adult there. I think it's a dumb move. Like the kid should not be allowed to stand there freaking out like that. Where he puts the plate in between his face so that when he goes to blow out the candle, there's like a plate there, and the kid's like apoplectic, like just like fucking. And then when he realizes the other kid finally blows out the candle and it was taken from him, he's like like freaks out. And I'm like, I don't like to see children in pain, but fuck that kid. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah.
There's no physical pain. That kid was shown his place, but also
some of these kids have been here before. Some of these kids have been here before. Yeah. Like also,
I was thinking about like if I was a guest at this birthday party and I brought a present for the birthday child, and at the end of the day, I'm like, where the fuck is that kid taking? I don't like, hey.
Oh my god, I would love to see you at a birthday party for kids. That would be fantastic.
I'm great. Look, contrary to
no, I'm just saying, like, you would be like, what the fuck? That present's not for you, kid. Like, I just think that would be a natural reaction.
Oh, yeah. Especially, like, if it was a wedding where I knew no one and I have zero vested interest and I can be whoever I want to be and say whatever I want to say, I'd be like, who the fuck lets their kid do this? Who are you to let
that kid?
What is happening?
That kid's an asshole, and so is his parents. Bye.
Shame.
Those adults are assholes, and they're turning that kid into a piece of shit. That's what I was.
It's tragic when you're watching that happen as a non-participant of parenting. When you can sometimes watch be in a room with a bunch of kids and be like, well, this one's gonna be a dick, and that one's like, and not every kid is built the same. And I think I am of the opinion, and I could be wrong, I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to parenting or children, but I'm of the opinion that your kid is a direct reflection of the environment that they're around. There are kids that I know that are the exact same age, that have been in the exact same classroom and could not be more fucking different. And it's all because of the environment they're around. So if that kid
generally
feels that, right, if that kid feels that entitled to fucking run through a party and just go, this is mine, that's the parents. That's the parents, and that's the parents that are not fucking doing their job. So like,
let's go to the comments.
Stay the fuck home. And that's why, yes, let's go to the comments. But that's why I don't understand why your rationale of like, leave the kid at home and let the adults come. The adults are the one that are fucking raising that asshole. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Like that's what I say, like,
Rookie says Missy and Mike are non-combatants in this one.
Yep.
We're on the same side.
Literally on the same level.
Melly says same. I'm hard on stuff like that. I don't remember.
I think it was me. Yeah, I think that was on the heels of what I was saying.
Well, she says like underneath it, I've been known to overstep when needed with no remorse. I've seen her.
Oh yeah.
I've seen this girl do it. Like, Melly is the number one person that if she's with a child, she's like on the child's level, having fun with them, having a great time, But like, she's the first one that the moment the kids start stepping out of bounds, will be like, the face changes and looks at them with that like that face of like, you want to fuck with me?
You don't like, because the thing is that I'm with you on that, Melly, because there's sometimes where a kid, again, a reflection of their environment, they have the temperament that they do. So like, if a kid starts talking to me because of XYZ, I'm not gonna be a bitch, but I'm gonna be like, I'm not the one for that. Like that. And every kid in my life knows that I am that bitch that like, you as a kid, if your kid is like, hey, Titi Missy, I want this $60 Halloween costume, I'm fucking ordering that for your kid and it'll be there tomorrow with no questions asked. But are they gonna fucking step out of line with me? I don't let that shit happen.
Does the kindness extend to podcast co-hosts?
Yes, it does. You have a wish list? We should do a secret Santa since it's just us four.
We should do a secret Santa. What the yes.
That would be fun as hell.
That'd be so cute.
We should do a
I've seen my favorite, speaking of like Melly, like my favorite thing that I ever saw her do was so my cousin had her child really young. So because she's like really outspoken, like in your face girl, and most of the time she had this like time in her life where she was very precocious, right? She had that line where she could cross, where she could either be like really like impish and, you know, like rile you up, or she could get into like bratty level. But she was like an adorable kid. One day my cousin was like holding her right next to Melly, and like this was years ago. Like Melly was like a bit heavier.
Just
and
as a side note, Melly is flipping out in the comments, just putting "Oh God" over and over again. So I'm excited for this story. Where are we going?
Yeah, because like also Melly's tall and everything, right? So like this little girl is like on my cousin's hip and then turns to Melly and decides to go, "Why are you so big?" Right? Right.
I've gotten that myself.
Yeah. And Melly's saying in the comments she was very heavy set then. Like, yes, she was heavy set at the time.
I want to fight. I want to go back in time and fight that
like
kid.
Curves and shit. Yeah, like the girl's always had curves and stuff like that. She's always looked like an Amazon.
I'm ready.
Like, strong. But like she's like, so whatever, she's like tall and shit, and like she's towering over this girl, and like she was in this moment where she was smiling and happy and everything. And this girl turns to her. Melly, without a second thought, turns to her with this deadpan face and goes, "Because I eat children." And then this little girl goes from like on that one side of her hip, like just stares at Melly, taps her mom on the shoulder, and goes, "I want to go on that side now."
I've gotten the
That's the greatest response of all time. Next time an old person asks me why I'm so fat, I'm gonna be like, "Because I eat old people, bitch." What? Run.
I'm a fan of Soylent Green. I was in the elevator one time in my building, and there was like this like young girl. She must have been like 5 or 6 or whatever, and she was just like doing that thing that it always happens with kids. They're just like,
wait, Mike. Before you say it though, credit to my cousin's mom though. At that moment, started losing it laughing and looked at her child and went, "That's what you get." Yeah. That's what you get. Don't say shit like that.
She just kept asking, and I ran out of reasons.
I got a tall mom and dad there, but the family's
so you were
you.
You were in the elevator once.
No, yeah. I was in the elevator, and there's like it happens a lot. Like kids stare, So there's and I love like making goofy faces at kids on the subway. I love that shit. Like I'm always like, yeah, whatever, blah, And then this girl was like doing that thing where she's like looking up at me, and I'm like, hello, and she goes, like there was like a like perfect comedic timing. She just kind of looks at me and goes, "You're too big," and I was like, don't I know it? Like, yeah, thanks, kid. I got you. And then the mom was like, no. And then I was like, no. She's very astute. Like I am too big. Yes.
Her observation skills are 10 out of 10.
Nailed it. 10 out of 10. And I was like, I feel like the two was important part of that sentence. Like you're too big. Like whatever she's used to, I'm more than that. And that's too much for her to handle.
Cannot process, cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
Oh God, kids say the darnest things, don't they? Yeah. Well, I think we'll. Wait, do it again. Just lose our hands off the frame.
Like I'm determined to raise my child so he's not a dickhead.
I think that's a good goal. I think that's a good goal, and I think that's completely feasible because I know the parents involved. So like you have a very, 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 very good shot. There's just some kids that have no choice but to be around assholes, so they reflect that kind of energy. I'm sorry, it's true. And so like if the kid's an asshole, it's probably because his parents are assholes too. So
oh no, like I'm already trying to teach Gami certain things that like probably don't make sense if you're trying to teach a 1-year-old, right? But I wanted to start being like habit of me saying, like there was a day where I was holding him in my lap. We were in an airplane. There was a guy sitting next to us. I always feel bad for the guy sitting next to us, right? So I'm determined to make it as non-problematic for the person next to me as possible. Try to keep him on my side, away, da-da-da. Gami is an adorable child. Sure, if you're in the mood to be around kids. But like not everyone wants to be in the mood to be around kids. And this guy obviously was just in his headphones and his own little thing, not interacting and stuff like that. So I'm like, cool, you want to be in your own zone. Some people want to interact. He doesn't. So I'm keeping Gami here. And of course, Camilo being the way he is and being very social, immediately starts trying to like whoop, and like lean over to the guy to like get his attention or like go to touch him. And immediately I'm doing that whole thing of like block the hand and being like, nope, we don't touch people if we like, if they don't ask. Nope, we don't touch people if they don't want to be touched. Nope, he did not say to touch him. And over and over again, just that phrase. Does he understand me? No. But I also want him to understand like you don't just go into people's bubbles. Stop it.
Consent starts at an early age, man.
There's a thing called a personal space.
That from the get.
Maybe he won't understand it cognitively, like a step-by-step process, but like just in that like toddler 0 to 1 thing, like he'll know like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. Like just the impulse, he'll understand that impulse needs to be managed, and that's all really you can ask for a 1-year-old at that point,
Yeah.
So
and try and explain this to the older generation is tricky sometimes. And I'm like, my mom's a pretty progressive person, but even with her generation, we were having a conversation one day where she's like, oh, but why do you have to do that? I mean, like anyone should be happy if a kid's giving them attention. I would be so happy if a child smiled at me or wanted to play with me.
Well,
like, but you like kids though.
To that point, Chiquita says, she says, no kid, you're too small. And that's when you introduce the truth. It's you, not me. God damn it. She sounds like such a good time. I got to go to New York.
Let's come hang out.
Oh my God. I just think that, it's kids are a direct reflection of their environment. And so, sometimes you're a freak of nature and like you're just like the exception to the environment. That's like my case, but 9 times out of 10 it's like not their fault, and I feel awful. But there are little kids in my life that I would be like, no, they're a little shit, but I don't hold it against them because it's not their fault. They're growing up around assholes like that. They have no choice right now. So I don't know, it's just but in that case, I think the one thing, the deal breaker for me in this scenario is the adults going, leave the child home for the kid's birthday, but you adults come. Like that makes no fucking sense, especially if the kid is the fucking problem.
Right. The common consensus amongst all the comments was what? Melly says, I think it's okay for kids to ask their innocent questions, but there is one thing to ask and there's another thing to express learned judgment. Very good point. Like I saw a meme that a mom said to the child, that the child asks why someone was in a wheelchair, and the mom said, well, ask him. So don't ignore the difference, acknowledging it, and ask so that they learn.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah. Like
communication.
Communication.
Is she a mom? Is Melly a mom?
No,
she's well,
yeah, high five.
Very,
no kids.
she's just very on it.
High five, Melly.
All right. On that note, I feel like every time Missy and I are left to like run shit, it's always like, yeah, fuck these kids.
I'm sitting here being like, I like
yeah.
No, fuck these kids.
Steph's like so sweet and understanding. She's like, no, I get it. I have my child that I love very dearly, but also fuck these kids.
Well, because
because the thing is, like, realistically, like, it's fucking exhausting, and like, you have to actually want this. Like, I don't get people who decide to have kids because it's like the thing to do.
Yeah.
You mean the entire generations before us for fucking centuries?
Right. Yeah. But that's why so many of us are like having to reparent themselves, is because the fact that there was people who had kids because they were just like, I guess
I'm
bored on a
literally
Tuesday.
My therapist 401k is me. I'm her 401k.
Yeah. I always talk about when I was doing jokes about my vasectomy, I would talk about like, imagine if every kid on earth was on purpose. Right? Like there would be 3 kids. You know what I mean? Like there would be 3 kids. They would be the most cherished.
Or like everyone would actually be so like put together.
I've brought up your theory of the angry load is the most fertile one. I've brought that shit up at fucking conversations. Like
stop fucking people you hate just because they're hot. On that note, thank you everybody for watching What's Up Bro live Wednesdays on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find all our social medias at WuBroPod.com and at WuBroPod and geekbro.net if you want to find all of the shows on the Geek Bro Network. You can follow us at our social medias shown right here on the screen, at Mike Mercadal, at Misty the Writer, at hello_my dear Watson. I should fuck with people and tell them to spell out the underscore, but I'm not going to do that. Podcast listeners, if you want to be a part of the action in the comments, like Melly, you can watch us on Wednesday nights when we go live. You can
Melly
follow
Rookie
us.
and your mom today.
Yolanda and Chiquita.
Yeah, and Chiquita, and your stepmom did mention earlier that she sent us our love, but she was babysitting today, so she couldn't participate.
That's right.
Melly just put a comment for the
we
record.
Love the Mercadals.
How did we
I know
start?
it sounds like an insult, but for when people are like, and your mom, and I'm like, yeah, my mom. Yeah, it was on the show too. Yeah.
Melly just put a comment of for the record, how do we start with porn and end with kids?
Like, because that's probably how it starts.
Yeah, that's how they make them.
The circle of life.
That's like watching training video for a football game where it's like, I got to scout this other team. I check out all the other shows on the Geek Bro Network. Pero let me tell you, Dosavelli. Check out Kickflix. Hi-ha.
Crimacopia. Our true crime podcast, which is awesome, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And all the other the rest of the Geek Bro umbrellas at geekbro.net.
And if you are listening to this on a at a later time on some form of device that has the ability to rate podcasts, please rate us. That's how they get up on the on the things. Click the share button. Give us a retweet. Whatever you got to do, spread the word. That's how we can get more listeners, and that's how we can spread. I was getting to it. Ooh, you jumped into the 3. You went on the second one. You got to go on 3.
I know. I'm sorry.
And thank you, Steph. That's how winning is done. And Missy, you have to be the one to shut it down.
Bye.
Bye.